My Hero Academia. Oh my god, let me switch to it. My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia chapter 343. It's loading, sorry. 343, Let You Down. All right. Let's get into it.
Wait, what's the name of the chapter?
Let You Down. Hey, Josh, settle down now.
Wow. I'm going to write that one down.
That's not going to be a title of the episode. I'm putting it in executive order. We start off with All For One. Just the first thing he says, lies do not work on me. When a person possesses even a single slightest malicious intent towards me, I know. And he's just like, what was the name of that quirk again? I think the original owner was a disappointment of a man. And he's talking on the phone, I guess with Aoyama's parents. And they're talking in code, basically, about, getting together and I guess luring Midoriya away. Blah, blah, blah. Plans are being made. And we open to, I guess, outside of the prison where Aoyama was being held. And Deku has come there to meet him. And he says, why aren't you being detained? And he's like, my parents' lawyers got me released. And he's like, well, whatever. We can rejoin the search effort and, we can work together. And he's like, wait, I'd like to speak to you. It's almost funny that the courts and legal system still exist despite Japan being in ruins. And then he goes off on how, shitty Japan is. Right now, everybody, there's a bunch of villain attacks worldwide. There's, the fucking economy is crashing. It's not doing great. And the only person that can save them, basically, is All For One in more words than one. This is like a big 2-page, just soliloquy about all this shit. And
it does make sense. I mean, I guess we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But I mean, for sure. It makes it, it wasn't that hard, and I think that is very realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Record unemployment. I'm writing that down.
Okay.
Why not?
Anyway, so, Deku's just like, no, the world would never go along with something like that. Besides, the world still has us. And Aoyama's like, true, but that's why I had to end it all here. I'm sorry, alas, I had to protect Maman and Papa. And who shows up behind him but All For One himself. With a cool new mask over his head.
It is actually really cool. I mean, this picture right here, probably panel of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, All For One has, exquisite drip as a villain. He has...
Yeah, he's most of the time dapping down. The only time we seen him was when he was in prison, and, I'll give him a pass for that.
Yeah.
He still had charisma, though. And that's what
I mean, All For One's thing before he went to prison was that he wore a suit. He was always dripped out the wazoo,
Yeah, he didn't have to be. He just sat on the chair. He sat on a chair all day up to that point.
Right, so hold that eyes in. You can never be as fly as me sitting down forever. I'll be the fly.
Didn't even gain weight or anything.
Yeah. He has a P90X quirk that allows him to stay in shape even when he sits on his ass all day. So yeah, the Deku's like, All For One, and he's like, splendidly done, Yuga Aoyama. You have done well. You've how heartrending to betray someone who put his faith in you, but you overcame the fear and pain. And I'm like, well, damn, dude, don't rub it in his face.
Right.
He did this for you. Yeah, he's basically, Deku's like, I believed in you. How could you do this? And Aoyama says, my pain cannot be measured. Uncle! And he spins around with his belly button laser and grazes All For One with it. And All For One's like, what the fuck? But
I was lied to?
But I have my you can't lie to me quirk. How is this possible? I spent the first few pages of this chapter being absolutely smug about it. But whatever, it matters not. I came 17 deep, it seems, and he does his gross portal thingy, and we get a big 2-page spread. After All for One actually like indicates that like I'm using my search quirk and I can see that all the heroes are spread out across the country and you'll be helpless without us. And that's when he summons his goons. A lot of the main villains are actually here. This is unexpected. Shigaraki's here even.
Yeah. Some other people.
Shigaraki, Dabi, some new folks, a bunch of Nomu. They're all here. And
what's her name?
Toga.
Toga. Yeah.
Yeah. But then Aoyama looks back at him and he's like, Mama and Papa told me something else. They told me that what you fear most of all is that the world learning that Japan isn't finished yet. And as he's talking, this little portal appears behind him, very reminiscent of Endgame. I feel like this is a little bit of a callback, the on your left moment. And Monoma is here. This Monoma forming, the copy guy, and not just him, Endeavor, a lot of the pro heroes actually. Miriko's here. Yay, Miriko!
Yeah, you're right. Hold on a minute. Yeah, Mr. Copy Guy is here too. What the hell?
Yeah, Gang Orca's here. Sun Eater.
Gang fucking Orca.
Let's fucking go. Now you know that All for One saw him and was like, no way. Gang
Where do
Orca.
you see the copycat guy? Is he at the top?
He's in the little panel. You don't see him in the 2-page spread panel, but you do see him in the corner, the bottom corner panel there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him there.
Oh, I thought that was the Cloud guy.
Nah.
I mean, they're using his quirk.
They are using his quirk. I guess they're activating it, like, from
or what
afar.
if Monoma is using it?
It could be. It could be Monoma using his quirk. But in any case, the heroes gather side by side with Aoyama, and that's where the chapter ends. An actually cool 2-page spread of the heroes gathering. It's super cool to see Miriko just ready to go again. The 2-page spread with the villains is also cool. But with that being said, let's get into thoughts. Josh, what did you think about this chapter?
I guess what I should respond with a question and say, what do you think that I thought? What do you think that I think about this chapter?
You're gonna make me say it? You're gonna make me say that?
No, how about you give one word?
I can say that you thought this chapter was disappointing.
What do you think, Brian? In one word.
I'm going.
I think you hated it, but you loved it. You loved that you hated it, or something along those lines.
You hate that you loved it.
As I finished reading this comic, I was stunned. When I tell you, I was stunned. Guys, I was watching this series called Euphoria. You have heard of it?
Yeah.
They had lots of drugs in that show, guys, and it gets rougher and rougher. I'll tell you that. But I tell you, I done seen some crazy shit happen on the TV, and then the follow up was like, I kind of had it on in the background while I was reading my, all the manga, and like I was stunned watching her turn into a fucking crackhead, essentially, or worse, a meth head, a real junkie, and then I see this happen, and I'm way more stunned. In the real, I really thought that, wow, what's gonna end first? Undead Unluck or My Hero Academia? This is going to be very interesting. We're gonna have to completely change our lineup. Remember to do that for the X books? We're gonna have to replace manga with a few of these X books for a little while because everything's about to end. Except for One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen, apparently. My Hero Academia, Black Clover, and Undead Unluck. It's like Horikoshi was like, I will not be undone by my predecessors. I will prove that I don't give a fuck about my series anymore and I'm ready to end it. More than anyone else, I will break the hearts of more people ever in the history of manga writing. That was my thoughts in this chapter. I have no other details to give because it was complete bullshit, and I can't believe it's... You know what? It'd be really nice if, like, in the next 2 chapters, he just did a whole bunch of setup that led to these moments, but, like, they're all teleporting in for a clash. What more can be said? What planning or lead up? I mean, it was shown. Aoyama set him up. And he just completely, like, son, this villain that was on such a pedestal. Like, All For One's looking real corny right now to me, man. He's acting very cliche, very... Like, you even gave him the voice. You ain't never give him no sarcastic, dickhead, bad man, like bad guy voice. Maybe you do the distinguished gentleman thing, but I felt the whole, oh, I'm this kind of bad guy vibe when he was narrating him. And I thought it fit, man, because it's like, bro, you're corny. You've been downgraded to Count Chocula, essentially, at this point. Like, and Shigaraki's coming out too in the portal. Like, what? What's going on? I'm stunned, yo. I'm fucking stunned.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Well, Brian, what did you think about this chapter?
I like this chapter.
What?
No, I did not love it. I only hated it, Brian. I'm sorry.
I like this chapter. Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like what's his name might have been able to trick All For One. What's his name? The
Aoyama?
No, the lying guy. Not the lying guy. The guy where, like, damn, what's his name? He's like the new Aizawa.
What?
The voice person?
Yeah, the voice guy.
Who gives brain control commands.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Shinso.
Yeah, I think Shinso. I think Shinso was the one who was on the phone with All For One, and he was the one who tricked him into believing that it happened, and into believing this. He probably used his mind control quirk when All For One responded to him on the phone to believe everything that he said, you know? And I think that's what caused it to happen, because you can't really lie to him. Like he said, you can't lie to him. No, even if you're a really good fucking actor, you can't lie to him. So it's either Aoyama is the greatest fucking liar to ever exist in all of mankind, or Shinso was the one who tricked him, which I think is pretty valid.
Well, how though? How could he trick him? Because Aoyama was on the phone with him.
Exactly, but he has that mask that lets him mimic people's voices.
Mm-hmm.
So all he needs is for you to respond to him.
Yeah.
To get the mind control off.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
But how did he do it? How did he get his... Like, is it a Bluetooth situation? Is he like three-way calling?
No, they're showing the panel of him talking, but that could just be just a setup or whatever, like a little misdirection. You know? Like, it could just as easily be somebody else on the phone instead of him. And I think this is gonna end up becoming another raid arc kind of thing, where it's the heroes and the villains kind of trading blows and like strategy and stuff, because we already know what the hero's plan is. This is not gonna be like an easy one and done arc, like a one and done chapter. Like, they're all gonna scrap and it's gonna be over, right? Like, we know that they are setting up. They made a plan to separate all these villains. So yeah, all these guys are showing up at once, but they're gonna be dispersed in some way. The heroes are going to try to find a way to divide them, because still, all the heroes are outnumbered and they're not at advantage here, even with all this shit going on. So, they're still behind. And All For One is not a dumbass. As much as he's portrayed to look like a dumbass right now, it's just not the case. This is the greatest villain of all time in all of Japan, maybe in all of the world. He still has a global influence, even though he's not left Japan. Like, this guy is not dumb. He's gonna have some shit up his fucking back pocket. And I'm sure he can handle adversity when it comes. So I don't think you should overreact yet. I'd give this like 2 chapters to really see how Horikoshi's gonna write it. Because if it does end up being like a little half-assed fucking ending fight, then I'll own up to it. But I don't believe that All For One is gonna be bested like that. Like, he's just gonna roll over and lose. So I think it's gonna end up becoming some crazy shit. There's gonna be some crazy shit going on. People are gonna get separated, and the heroes are still gonna get caught off guard by certain situations. You know. So I'm looking forward to see how this goes. And I'm excited to see what people's roles play, like especially Mirio. I fucking love that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I have conflicting feelings with this chapter.
I have to talk about it real quick.
Oh yeah, go for it, Josh.
Just literally real quick. I think there could be a myriad of reasons as to why he actually got tricked. You know what I'm saying? That I think the coolest result would be what you said, Brian, that he was like fooled by the mind control quirk, whether it was him or indirectly, maybe he mind controlled Aoyama, so he believed what he was saying was the truth.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
There's a lot of different creative ways he could have went about it that makes sense, and bro, I don't have an issue with that at all. My issue is the same thing that I've been talking about for the last few months, which is Jesus Christ. Why are we at this final battle right now? Even if it turns into an arc that lasts for until like the summer or something, you know what I'm saying? Which I think is really overestimating how long. No, that's not true. One Piece arcs last year, so whatever. I feel like things just happen a little too fast. I also just don't care for Aoyama being redeemed as a character right now, because again, even with the little bit of development he's been going through so far, he's just not that impactful of a character for me to care about his redemption. I'll be honest, I was really excited when I seen All For One pull up, because I thought, wow, Aoyama really did betray him, and I would have understood, because he was like, you know what, look at society, y'all niggas about to lose, I'm gonna make sure we're safe, I'm sorry. I thought it would have been way cooler if there had been some adversity in that regard. Maybe a few people would have pulled up to help, and they would have been able to get away for All For One, or maybe Midoriya would have been able to beat All For One, and they would have took out Aoyama, and then that would have left Shigaraki to his own devices to develop. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. This is more of me kind of dictating what I wish I wanted to see, I guess. But, man, I just feel like he keeps doing all the things I don't want to see happen. I just would have been way more interested had this went about differently.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely know where you're coming from. I think, like, my prevailing theory here is that, like, All For One has just been this guy who's got a plan for everything, and I feel like this is just part of it, where I wouldn't be surprised if every single League of Villains person that pulled up was actually a clone.
Oh, that'd be so sick. That would be interesting.
Because, like, he brings the whole squad in. I don't know. I don't know about that. I feel like they built up Toga having twice his blood, for a reason, obviously. Right. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think at some point it's going to be discovered that these are all clones, especially since like Twice's quirk is that like his clones are generally weak. So like if they're easily defeated, we'll find out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
As far as like the pacing issues of this thing goes, I agree. I mean, like even if this is like. even if there is more to My Hero Academia after My Hero Academia, like a whole separate sequel series, it feels like, it's just like, why are you in a rush to get to it? Like, there's not the same amount of care and love that is shown that we've seen from earlier My Hero Academia, and I think that's missing a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to echo so much, what was saying, because we say it every week, but yeah, it is just like it's a rough thing to go through. And it happens all the time. But there's cool moments about this. If we don't actually know what's going to happen as far as, what this all means. I feel like this is moving very quickly on purpose. So, I trust enough in Horikoshi that this is definitely probably not going to be the final arc, just like this. This is probably going to be way more. I wouldn't be surprised if Deku is actually taken at the end of this. Like, the villains win again this time. But I don't know, man. I feel like the bigger plan is that All For One is just focused on getting Midoriya more than anything, more than defeating any heroes that might pull up. The main focus is to just kidnap Midoriya. But yeah, I don't know. It does feel a little like, impersonal this series has become. It's like very all about business, except for last chapter where we got a little bit of a heart-to-heart with certain characters. And I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe it's because I am too close to these characters that I'm like, I do want to see more from them, Specifically, not Aoyama, because I do also agree that Aoyama, I'm like, I don't really care one way or another whether Aoyama is redeemed or not, because he's just like not that big a character, and they haven't really made a point to make him like a big part of the group.
Yeah.
But that being said, I mean, that's all my thoughts. I thought this was like, this chapter didn't really make me upset because I'm kind of used to it by now, but we'll see where it goes. I'm willing to give it that like 2 chapters to like kind of show us what it's about, because I don't want to like make these big generalizations up top in case I'm wrong, which I feel like I don't want to be wrong. But anyway, any rebuttals to that?
Brian?
No.
That makes sense.
No.
That makes sense and stuff.
Yes, I'm very.
With all that, with everything I said, I'm still hoping for the best. I mean,
yeah.
I think it works the hard, Brian.
Yeah.
Things can still work out really cool. A lot of cool plans can still go down.
Definitely.
I'm very confident in my boy Horikoshi.
Yeah, you're still good.
I'm glad you are. Someone had to be.
Hey, you're buying the dip, bro. I'm proud of you. Diamond hands.
Oh man, you are buying the dip.
I'll tell you what.
I'm still highly under the idea that My Hero Academia is gonna have a sequel series past Academia.
Yeah,
like I'm 100% still on board with that, which is why I'm not upset about the pacing and shit.
I mean, yeah. I mean, even so, even if it is, I'm still like, all right. Like, there's a way to do a sequel series without like fast forwarding through everything you're doing right now. I don't know.
I feel like he's just bored of the series being in Japan. That's what I feel like.
I mean, if that's true, then that's like kind of sad. Like that. I mean, you could, if that, because the thing is, I believe that. I believe Horikoshi's bored, and that's not fun to read.
It's not. I wish it didn't come down to it. I feel like we, the fans, did that to Horikoshi.
I don't know. Maybe he could also do that to himself. Sometimes the creative process is that you're part of something for so long that you want to like move on to the next big thing, which in this case I guess would be a sequel series, but that's also just conjecture at this point. But yeah,
sure.
Who knows?